Hi, welcome to Toy Hill Studio. My name is Kendall Kessler. I decided to again take another break from my Skyline Beauty series. I do want to do one more of Austin, Texas, but I've decided I want to do a center of my mind painting. As I've mentioned before, those are paintings that don't have any recognizable shapes, but are a reaction to just colors and textures, like music without words. And this time I'm going to use a sponge, something I don't normally do, and just see what happens. I have a feeling this is going to probably be a short video, because this is going to, once it's covered up, if I do a whole lot more, it's going to get muddy. So we'll just see what happens. I may go back into it. I may get my hairdryer out. I am really, as I often say, really just experimenting. Actually, all my paintings have experimentation to them. Even when I am painting the Blue Ridge, I am still reacting to what I see and trying to get as interesting a grouping of shapes and colors and textures as I can. People have such a wide variety of reaction to this kind of artwork that I always like to explain it to them from the artist's point of view. And of course it's different. Not all artists would agree with this, but I run into a lot of people that act like this is just not painting, or that it's just the artist trying to fool the public with something that isn't really art. And I always hate that, because that couldn't be further from the truth. What artists consider this to be is pure painting. I left out a color, so I want to get that in there, because there's one I always like to use. So I take my glove off for a second and get that out here. It is painting that is a grouping of colors and textures, like all paintings are, in a way that hopefully is just a really interesting, intense visual experience. And in this kind of painting, you can't look at it in terms of things you like to see. We all like to see things that we all have different biases, things that we really like to see. For example, I have never been real interested in cars, which is kind of unusual. I think most people are. So, a real fascinating design of a car, even though I expect that, is not going to really interest me as art. And then there are some people that like to see dancers and others not interested in dancers at all. With this kind of art, you either like it because of the way the artist put it together, or you don't. And there's no reason that you have to. Certainly don't have to like abstract art. Well, what the public tends to call abstract art. Actually, we call it non-objective. We call art where you change the shape significantly abstract. But, a lot of artists more and more are just calling this abstract, because that's how people tend to react to it, as they like that title, and that's what they tend to call it. Okay, I'm getting some very interesting things going, and I really kind of want to get my brush, which is not what I was planning to do at all. These are my most experimental types of paintings, but I really want to get a brush out and play with the different areas that are cropping up. I don't want to get it muddy, and I don't want to lose some of the very interesting contrast and colors that I'm getting. Now, what was I saying about art? Once a teacher, I guess always a teacher. So, as I said, in this type of art, you either like it or you don't like it because of the way it looks, not because of what it looks like. That's basically it. But, I know what I wanted to say. A lot of people that really like art, they think there is some huge mystery here. Something that is just incredibly mysterious. And I think there are some artists that think that too. But most artists don't. They see it as a visual experience, just like representational. Oh yeah, I'm glad I got the brush out. Getting some interesting linear effects too. Really thought I was just going to do this with a sponge. But I really am starting to like what is happening with both the feathered part of the sponge and also the use of the brush, getting a little more of a linear effect. But as I was saying, really reacting to the painting at the same time I'm talking, as I was saying, most artists, they don't really see it as some intense mystery. They see it as a level of abstraction, because to artists, all art is an abstraction from life. It's not the thing itself. You can't really get what's out there. It's really impossible. You can get a kind of a really good shadow. You can try your best to get those colors before they change, and they're changing every 15 minutes. Well, even more than that. You really can't get what's there. And if you're working on a still life, even though you can set up lights and things, it's still changing. The light is always changing. Oh yeah, I'm really starting to like the complexity. I like really complex artwork. All my artwork is very complex. Lots of color, lots of brush work. But it's all an abstraction. And there's just different levels. And with this kind, it's, as I said, music without words. I know I repeat myself a lot, but I don't know who's watching this, and it's real important to me to say these things because I do, as I said, I run into a lot of people that really haven't really studied art, and they have a lot of misconceptions, and it really makes me sad because I've noticed that some people just get absolutely angry when you do this kind of artwork, and that's really sad to me. And I've noticed that people like that, if you try to explain it to them, they just clam right up. They just, no, you're wrong. It's not really art. And that's sad. But then I think there are a lot of people that really appreciate it too. I mean, I have never found anybody that says they don't like music without words. I mean, there are some things they like to hear and it doesn't have to have words. And that's what this is. It's music without words, a visual experience. And I really like it just the way it is. I may just stop it. As I said before, I usually work on these after, off camera, but this is a really spontaneous type of work, and I think I might just like it the way it is and probably just leave it. But be sure to click on the final version in case I do change it. There will be a link to that, and of course there's links to all my artwork, and I greatly thank you for watching.